Yeah, good evening. I'm your host, Don Armando, and welcome to Open Topics with Don Armando. Yeah, I'm just waiting for one of my special guests to come through, so stay tuned. Good evening, Don Jose. How you doing? Good evening. I'm just actually waiting for one of my special guests to come through, so that's what I'm doing right now. I hear you. I mean, I got like, well, I'm off for like several days. I was, yeah, because I know I have to do something. And then me and my wife's anniversary is coming up, so I'm about to celebrate that over the weekend too. And also, I want to spread awareness of a young man that lost his life. He was special needs, and the Philadelphia police unalived this young gentleman. So I actually posted his info right there. So therefore, I mean on my TikTok, so at least certain people could get some info about this man's untimely deletion by the hands of the Philadelphia Police Department. Hey, how you doing? All right, I'll put the link in the description. Oh, crap. Wrong link. All right. Good evening.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. So,
Sorry,
well,
I'm so new to this platform. It's really difficult. Give me a moment.
all right.
Okay. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm doing all right. It was at first I thought I was not gonna do it, but then I was like, hold up, I don't have work tomorrow, so yeah, I could do it. I'm just all right. I guess on TikTok, I went up and I said something, and maybe 50% of people actually misinterpreted it. So it's actually fun and game in these social media streets.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. TikTok, is a very, I'm still learning how to navigate that app. It really, you know, it's a lot more sensitive and you really got to know how to talk.
Yeah, like for example, right? I'm Latino and I speak bad Spanish. Whoop de doo. Now, with that said, I went up and I made a post on my own TikTok, and it was like, oh, when when people of our own collective, the Latino collective, they actually go and they want to disrespect black folks, etc. but then some of them listen to or adhere to African religious customs. I just put that out there. The next thing you know, I'm getting um comments saying that I'm being disrespectful. I'm dissing the Christian faith, all this stuff. But yet my post had nothing to do with dissing anybody. It was just putting a fact right there. Is it me or is other or certain people they didn't know they failed in comprehension in school?
Yeah. I mean, people, some people don't really go into these platforms to learn anything or to have their views challenged. They just go in there with their preconceived notions and they project how they feel onto the situation instead of learning to really listen. And so that unfortunately, there's not much that can be done about that sometimes.
Right.
It's just all about understanding your audience, where they're coming from, and knowing if they're ready to receive the message. I mean, even the Bible says, what do they say? Don't throw pearls to swine. In other words, don't waste your time throwing gems to people who are just not ready to receive it because it's a waste of time.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like some people, I can't tell you, I'm Dominican too. And the amount of times I've called out my people on TikTok and then I get called a vende patria or a sellout. It's crazy to me.
I mean, it's funny, right? There's one individual that I'm not going to mention that me and him we actually have a beef because the beef actually started in YouTube
Does
and
his
me and
name
him
rhyme with Nacho?
sadly yes.
Okay, I know
Um
what you're talking about.
yeah, so the beef started in YouTube, right? Because I went on a guy's page and I was just trying to show him love, being that his family's from the same town where my family is from, right? The next thing you know, I was like, okay, I said what I was. I'm a Dominican West Indian. So this idiot says that we don't exist. That started an argument. And then he went up and proceeded to say certain disrespectful things about my wife. And me being the guy that I am, I'm from the Bronx. I told him that we could go in and say it to my face and we could rumble. And that dude, I'm just putting it out there. He's a coward. So you want to go and try to tell people that you're going to revoke their card,
Oh, he revoked
supposedly.
mine. I don't give a shit. He revoked mine a long time ago.
He, he, he,
What did he call
he,
it? He calls us what? The knee pad squad, cucks, and all of that. I have a nickname for his ilk and their section of Dominican Avengers and Nationalists on YouTube. I mean, not on YouTube, on TikTok as well. So I call them the Christopher Columbus Cum Cadets and that
no, no, no,
Trujillo
yeah,
butt
now,
licker.
now, now on YouTube, we actually have a name for them. We actually call them the Hispanotaps.
The what? The
The
Hispanic test?
Hispanotaps.
I'm gonna use that. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
It's a good
because
one.
it's like okay, if you actually see their ilk or whatever, right? If you look at it, right? If I'm like this, like all my lives out here on YouTube, right? There's certain people that have actually said that the most embarrassing things about this guy because this guy gets doxxed and and some of his ilk they ain't real right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about something. If a person is gonna go and say, I'm gonna revoke your Dominican card, but yet they can't pay their rent on time, does their word really matter? Oh yeah, shout out to the 18th letter, Rakim.
I mean, there's a way to. The reason why Nacho decided to do that, and I've spoken to him outside of this app because I told him, I said, I'll be honest with you, I really think you're just trolling. I don't think because you seem like an intelligent enough man. Do you really believe the crap that you're saying? I really called him out on it, and he
He's
said
not.
that.
He's yeah, yeah. But here's the thing, though. He's not really intelligent at all.
Well, you know what? You can say that and you have your opinions and I respect them. But before this becomes a nacho bashing session, because I really want to talk about
The
Dominican,
Dominican,
the discourse of Dominicans as a whole, our identity as a people, our history. There's a surge of what I call Dominican nationalists who I believe are dangerously trying to rewrite history. Right? The way we
yeah,
see here in the United States, the way some people want to rewrite history and claim that slaves benefited and that slavery wasn't that bad, that slaves got free food and a free place to live, and the same way they want to rewrite certain histories, right? I feel like
right.
there's a bunch of Dominicans on TikTok that are doing this, and Nacho is a part of these people that
And that,
they are nationalists who support Trump, who think
mm-hmm,
Trujillo was misaligned, right?
mm-hmm,
Who scapegoat Haitians for all of our problems,
right,
who I look, I get it that the whole Godfrey joke. I'll be honest with you, it got stale to me in 2016. The whole "I know black, I Dominican." I believe that there's a two-parter to that, right? Yes, their colorism exists in our country. Yes, there are some Afro Dominicans that do not like to embrace their blackness. That is true, and I call them out all the time. But I
right,
also acknowledge that some people, when they say they're not black, they think in their eyes, when you say black, they mean like black African Americans, right? Because if you were to ask them, okay, what's your race or what is your skin color, right? They're not going to say they're white. They're not stupid. They own mirrors. They know where they come from, where their ancestry comes from. They just get
right,
confused because they tend to think black means a black person, like is a non-Hispanic black American. And some
right,
people who are mixed with black don't want to say they're black because they feel like to just claim blackness implies that they're rejecting their other parts of their identity. So some people
right,
believe, oh, well, you guys just say you're mixed so you can deny your blackness. I don't agree. Some people think that mixed doesn't mean I'm anti black. It includes my blackness. It just refuses to only highlight my blackness. And so, what some black African Americans who are not Hispanic, who live in the United States, don't understand is that the way that you guys conceptualize race is different in other countries, and you cannot impose that onto them. But while I agree with that part of it, it works in the opposite direction as well, right? If I'm a Black Dominican and I live in the United States, I've been living in the U.S. since I was 4. I turned 33 next month. So you do the
right,
math. If I've been living in this country for damn near 3 decades, I have to abide by the social code of this country. And in this
right.
country, your phenotype is what determines what you are. It doesn't matter what you are as far as blood quantum or if you have a white parent or whatever. What matters is your phenotype. And I've said and I've explained this to Macho. In this country, you must do the same way you can't have you don't want black Americans to go to the Dominican Republic and tell you how to identify. It works both ways. We as Dominicans who reside in the US have to abide by the US racial code. And it doesn't matter how you identify personally. I told them, you need to play in this country. If a white racist cop were to stop you, what would he think about you when he looks at you? I told him, do you really think that a white cop will look at a woman like me with my very Afrocentric features and not see me as another N word with a hard R? Do you think he cares if I speak Spanish or if I eat rice and beans or if I can dance bachata? No. He's going to see me as a black woman. And as such, I will experience much more
Mm-hmm.
closer the experiences of a black American than anything else. You know what I mean?
Same
So
here.
I do agree that sometimes this discourse of I know black, I'm Dominican, I really do feel like Dominicans are always the epicenter of this conversation, as if we are the only ones with an identity crisis, as if colorism is worse here than anywhere else. I hate to break it to us fellow black people, with all due respect, we're hated all over the world. Okay, like
Thank
this
you.
is not just a thing that's unique to Dominicans. Now, I'm not justifying it when my people do it. It's not an excuse. It's still wrong and it deserves to be called out. But I do find it a bit curious how people seem to just, when it's us, it just seems to like make their asses itch in a way that they don't seem to get as upset when other people do it. So what Nacho gets upset about is that he feels that for too long, ever since that Godfrey joke got out of hand, and ever since, people point to one individual, right? Who's always the go-to to prove that we're self-hating and we bleach our skin? Sammy freaking Sosa. one individual, but just because he has the most visible face and is one of the most known Dominicans, he's not the rule. He's the exception. A lot of
Right.
nobody sits there and talks about how Jamaicans are self-hating and Jamaicans love to skin bleach when Vibes Cartel bleached his skin. You know what I
No,
mean?
I
Nobody
mean, not
claims Black Americans as a whole hate themselves and love to bleach their skin with Michael Jackson and with Lil Kim. So what I'm saying is self-deprecating ignoramuses will exist everywhere you go. But I just feel
exactly.
like, you got to stop constantly just focusing on the negatives and focus on the vast majority of people. Be honest with you. We use
Yeah,
the word
it's
morenito, negro. That's not an insult. In fact, more often than
exactly,
not, that's used as an adjective. That's used actually as a term of endearment. There's a lot of us that love
exactly.
our blackness. And I really get tired because I go, the amount of times I get backhanded compliments when people tell me, oh, wow, finally a Dominican that is, that loves herself and knows she's black. I'm like, you are aware a lot of us exist. But y'all just because you couldn't get Godfrey's come out of your throat, you want to sit here and act like we are the overwhelming vast majority of us don't recognize that we're black, or oh my God, we are all colorist, or the vast majority of us, whatever. So I do agree to some extent. I see where some Dominicans did not help for us to have that stereotype, but past a certain point, it's kind of like y'all got to stop generalizing because I see a lot of Dominicans like we mind our own business and yet our genitalia is always in somebody's mouth. And so I'm always
Yep.
thinking, like, what is the obsession with us in particular? Like, why are people so
I,
gung ho and so fixated on how we of
I,
all people identify? We're such a tiny island. You know
all
what I
right,
mean? It's just
all
like,
right, and I'm gonna tell you this why too. Um, what happened is this. All of this started culminated when it was around. I'm just saying from what I've seen, it culminated right after the Haiti earthquake. Because before that, yeah, I'm telling you, I'm 40 years old. I've been through it, and I've experienced. I I could go like anywhere up in New York. And I'm like, I'm Dominican. I speak bad Spanish. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? They let me in, and we vibe. Only one section, they'll tell me to my face that I'm not a Dominican. I have to do all this proving and stuff, and I don't. And I went to Norman Thomas, and I went through all that. And one thing I got to say, I don't know if you're from this section, Alto Manhattan, but it's only that section comes with this. So with that said, and some of the detractors, I guess, are from I guess the west side of the Bronx or Alto Manhattan or some other Dominican enclave in New York. When I actually see this, it's not only that you have certain people that are trying to rewrite history. You have certain people who want to make in their minds and stuff that they're trying to make it that they're trying to make the Dominican Republic like the next Chile or Argentina in their minds. So what they think instead of financial literacy and everything like that, what would make their country better is we have to make more Europeans and then we're going to change the history. When the fact is they can't. So therefore, you have certain individuals that will say, "I'm going to take your Dominican card" and everything like that. And they go and they actually believe in their lies that the three founding fathers of the Dominican Republic went up and gave them this authority to revoke people's Dominican cards. First of all, that sounds like a crazy man. Number two, with all due respect to the three founding fathers of the Dominican Republic, we didn't know what they sound like. And third and foremost, from what I've seen and what everybody else seen, you see certain people that they want to follow the leader. but yet their leader have a sinister plan, and they want to mask it off as patriotism when it's really not. So that's my beef.
I mean, when you hear some of them literally praising Trujillo, that is how I'm like, y'all lost your damn minds.
It's like, for example, when I tell people that I came from two parents who actually were raised under the Trujillo era, I mean, with my age and everything like that, people have told me that I'm a liar and everything like that. And when my parents had me in this country of the United States, they're in their 40s. And, there were certain times that I can even relate to my parents sometimes, unless it was through music. And when I'm saying through music, my mom Dukes had records of Angel Viloria, um, the old records of Dioris Valladares. I'm talking about records that was there like in the 1950s. And then Alberto Beltran, the old Joseito Mateo. So therefore, when me and my mom used to talk and everything like that, because both of my parents, God rest their souls, they were both from Municipio Consuelo, San Pedro de Macorís. But at the time when they were born, it was called Ingenio Consuelo San Pedro. It was owned by the Americans. So, with that said, you have certain people that they grew up with it within their lives, and it was like, well, Dominican Republic was better when Trujillo was going around, which I guess financially it might have been partly true. The reason why I say that is because how my mother actually explained it to me. $1 in the Dominican Republic was $1 in the United States when Trujillo was in power. But what a lot of people don't understand is, I guess, when it came down to history, that most of the immigrants who are actually, or the descendants of immigrants that actually came to the DR, I'm talking about descendants of the Jews that actually came out from World War II. You had Chinese immigrants. Oh, okay. I guess she came, so I guess she got off. So all right.